No question, the big game tomorrow in the Champions League, Manchester United taking on Juventus. It, of course, sees the return of Cristiano Ronaldo to Old Trafford. Before we look ahead to the game, Ronaldo was asked during the press conference how he felt with those sexual assault allegations hanging over him.
I'm happy, man. This is not the we did the statement 2 weeks ago, if I'm not wrong. So I'm glad. Of course, I'm not gonna lie on this situation. I'm very happy. My lawyers, they are confident, and of course I am too. So the most important that I enjoy the football, I enjoy my life. The rest, I have people who take care of my life, and of course, the true always coming in the first position. So I'm good.
That's right, Mark Ogden joins us from Old Trafford. Mark, how have they reacted in the UK to this story?
It's always been a really big story. You know, Ronaldo and Messi, the two biggest footballers in the world, and you know, Ronaldo's had a great career in England with United, so he's a well-known figure over here. But I think certainly from United's perspective tomorrow night, they're quite keen to dial it down, I've been told, and make sure that it's just about the football. There's no plans to make it a big thing about Ronaldo. The fans, different matter. The fans might give him the kind of hero's welcome that he got in 2013 when he came out with Real Madrid, and if that happens, then we'll have to wait and see. But the story certainly had a bit of coverage over here, a lot of coverage. People have been very keen to play it straight, report the allegations. There's not been a lot of commentary on the situation. It's just been one of those. The laws in England and the UK are slightly different to the States, so not a lot of it can be reported. But certainly, it's made a big splash. It's a huge story, and it's a huge figure.
I'm not so sure that although Juventus going into this game are favourites, are the United faithful really going to be happy for United to sit and try and break at home? I don't think they will. I think that means that they will try and come out, and that means danger because Juventus, absolute masters of the counter-attack.
And while I agree with the fact that Juventus is dangerous in the counter-attack, I do think that when you see the second half of Manchester United against Chelsea, you want more of that. You want a team that is willing to take chances going forward, that is willing to press teams, that is willing to take risks. When they do that, they have good enough players to cause problems for everybody else. Chelsea, all of a sudden, their possession of the ball was long gone. All that beautiful possession that people are talking about, it was gone because Manchester United stepped their lines up. They were winning the ball in good areas. They were attacking. They were dictating the pace of the game. At some point, Manchester United, if they evaluate when they have done well this season, they have to look at themselves and say, it's when we're willing to play on the other half. Not just waiting for teams, but actually test teams defensively. When they've done that, they created problems. I think they should go ahead and do that the rest of the year.
You're absolutely licking your chops if you're Allegri. If you really think that this is how Mourinho's going to set his stall out, and yes, at times they've looked well going forward, but this is meat and drink for a team like Juventus. And the truth is, at times they've gone forward, like the second half at Chelsea, and looked the part. The majority of the time, they haven't when they've tried to go forward, and they've thrown goals in the back of the net. So if you want to be positive, yes, take what you can from Chelsea. But unfortunately, if they're going to try and do that at home against Juventus, hey, if I'm Juventus, I'm licking my chops.
There's a simple answer to that. They're not. They're not. I mean, I know Ali's right. I mean, but they're not. By his very nature,
yeah.
that may happen as the game progresses, but it'll be it'll just happen like it did at the weekend where Chelsea were started. They look flustered, but he won't. He's never going to do that from the start of the game. Never.
There's been a lot of questions in there, Mark, about the style that Mourinho has employed at United. But the boys are right, aren't they? Tomorrow isn't the time to go against that and try and play some flair football because Juventus, let's face it, they're no Newcastle and they're no Chelsea. This is a world-class side.
Absolutely, and I think, you know, there's been some classic United-Juventus games at Old Trafford over the years, you know, going back to the 90s when this was the Champions League semi-final. These are really big games, but, you know, Juventus have come and they've restored the reputation in recent years, and I think, you know, United on a European, on a big European, that will always go at a team. They'll just be urged on by the crowd, but they just can't defend. You know, they conceded 2 against Newcastle, 2 against Chelsea, and, you know, with Ronaldo back at Old Trafford, I think Juventus will score at least twice on Tuesday night, so that means United have to score 2 or 3 to win. I just don't see it happening. I think Lukaku's not consistent enough up front. I think if Sanchez had been playing to anything like his potential or was fit, I'd play him through the middle because Lukaku's just not doing enough. He's just not doing enough to warrant his place, but he's going to have to play against Juventus. Rashford, great for England, less so for United. Martial, still inconsistent. I just think United have got problems all over the pitch. They've got a lot of quality, certainly going forward, but defensively they're just not there. And the bad defence puts too much pressure on the forwards and the midfielders to deliver beyond their possibilities at times. And I think Juventus will come to Old Trafford on Tuesday and probably win comfortably, like the guys say.
Impressive stuff from Unai Emery's side. And you take a look at how that affects their position in the table overall. They move up to 4th, level on points with Chelsea and Spurs. Hey, this was good from Arsenal.
No, it is good from Arsenal. And listen, Unai Emery, this is what you want your first season in charge. You've only had one transfer window. There was no big star signings. They got schooled by Man City in the opening game. Then they lost against Chelsea, but that really was a crazy game. I mean, they could have scored 4 or 5 themselves. Ozil's a class act. We've always known that. The argument is just we just don't see it often enough in the big games. But
he was so good.
If Unai Emery can bottle that, and we've always said about Ozil, you need to structure the team around about him for him to operate at his best. So if he can do that, and then you've got, like I said, Aubameyang coming off the bench, then it could be a very good season for Arsenal. I mean, I think people are getting carried away if you go on social media. Not that that's any surprise about, oh, this could go all the way. If Arsenal get in the top, in my opinion, if Arsenal get in the top 4, that will be a great season for them this year. They won't win the league because there's at least 3 better teams.
They're good enough to be in the top 4.
Well, I had Man United in the top 4, so currently, you know, they're looking a bit sticky, and I would say they're playing as well as Tottenham. So they're not better than Chelsea, City or Liverpool for me, but they are capable.
You go back to 2007, that's the last time they won 10 in a row. Eventually it was 12. They finished 3rd in the table.
Yeah. Listen, I think you have to look at the fixtures. Yes, they've played some great attacking football. Some of the goals they've scored recently were kind of Wenger teams of old. But the truth is, they've done it under not the most severe of pressure for 90 minutes. They're playing against teams like Leicester, who are very open, who you can destroy by playing good football. And the fact that they've gone 10 games unbeaten...
They've won every single one of them.
Yeah, but again, they've gained confidence, but they've played against teams that have let them play. When they come up against who I think will be the top 4, and that's your Liverpool, City, Spurs and Chelsea, they won't be able to do that for 90 minutes and get away with it. They'll be put under severe pressure. And I'm telling you, if my 2 centre-backs against a proper team are Mustafi and Holden, I'm a worried man. So, yes, they've been fantastic to watch, but they haven't played anybody of real note.
Well, but you can only concern yourself with the players and the teams that you're playing against. And you can't help but win those matches.
And they've been fantastic to watch. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying it's the opposition.
It's been a criticism of Arsenal in the past that some of these games they've dropped points on. They've lost points. And they haven't won these games that they're supposed to win. So now they're winning the games that they're supposed to win. And now we're saying, well, hold on, let's see who they play next. I'm just saying, winning is never a bad thing. And 10 wins in a row says a lot about a team.
I'd be excited if I was an Arsenal fan. But
definitely.
When the Wenger thing's gone, we harped on about that, it went stale. Unai Emery's got a proven track record, no matter what you say. One of the decisions he's going to have to make is the goalkeeping thing. There was talk about Petr Cech coming back, but clearly Leno is more comfortable playing out from the back with his feet, and that is what they want to do. Now, he's got to make a decision. Is it who's best with their feet playing out at the back, or who's the better goalkeeper? Because as Stevie mentioned, even when Socrates comes back in to that defence, it's not the strongest defence, so the goalkeeping position for him is going to be key.
What's the magic formula to make Mesut Ozil do this every week?
Oh, goodness.
Well, it's the players around him. That's it.
Play Leicester and Fulham.
You put him with players and give him space and give him time, then he'll cut any team apart. But he needs players around them who are going to get in good positions for him and get him the ball.
Hello, welcome to Extra Time. Thank you very much for joining us. What's the best performance you've ever seen from a number 10?
Maradona, 1986 World Cup. That's it.
That set the bar rather high.
Well,
how dare you?
For the rest?
How dare you?
Is that question off the back of the fact Mesut Ozil had a good game?
Oh, I see.
it was not as good as Maradona in 86.
I see.
I think that's what it is.
How excited were you when Maradona did that?
I think
against England?
Oh, I was tell you what. I was off my seat. I was cheering.
Because you'd have been back from the World Cup by then, yeah?
Oh, we loved it. They took the pressure right off us.
Really?
To start with,
Yeah.
and then we piled it back on ourselves. But no, it was fantastic.
Where did you watch it? Do you remember?
At home. We'd already got on the plane by then.
It's like, yeah, that's what, have you gone on holiday? You know,
What goal are you talking about? No, I'm serious.
the one against England.
A handball.
Well, both of them.
Both of them.
Or the proper goal.
I imagine both goals got you excited.
Well, it was the second one was just, to be honest, it wouldn't have mattered who it was against. I mean, you talk about class.
Yeah.
But the first one was funny. It was just hilarious.
Like, really?
Watching all these Englishmen crying their eyes out. Handball, yeah, right.
Well, it was handball.
No, it wasn't. A fallacy.
It's a fallacy.
We headed it.
Oh, yeah?
You don't remember that. You would have been too young for that, right?
I was 5.
So do you
I
remember?
remember crying.
Same height as you are now as well.
Yes.
Stop growing at
Haven't
5.
grown much, have you?
Same height.
He peaked early.
Still little.
Shove it up early and his old boy went, oh, he's going to be tall.
What were your feet?
Stop.
Have your feet kept growing? What size are they now?
Got quite small feet as well, actually.
Oh, I know, they're pretty small too. Aren't
You got big old.
I've got some. I've got a good grip of the earth. You could say.
You mean with the size of your feet and then your
Exactly.
That really keeps him close to the
weight?
earth.
Got like downforce.
Listen to olive oil sat there. Look at him. When are you going to start that diet again? You keep telling me.
I don't go on a diet, I just exercise.
So you just keep drinking Peronis as well?
Correct. 'Cause
Yeah, right. He's look at his
not
nose.
my fault.
Hey, the nose is starting to go.
It's not my fault that you're lazy. Overweight.
I'm one. I'll tell you what. I am not lazy. I love you. Maybe a lot of things, but lazy. No.
Dad,
Right, you two all right then? Which player will finish the Premier League season with the most assists? Were assists big things back in your day?
Easy to say for you, that, isn't it?
Assists.
Well, you didn't stop. You just went. Zzz.
no, but I said
I feel we talk about assists more even in the last 5 years than maybe we did in the past.
that's because people go and formulate graphics with assists.
Yeah.
Half of them are somebody's played the ball 5 yards and then somebody's hit it in from 20 yards.
Yeah.
It's an assist. It's a load of nonsense.
Did you care about assists when you were playing?
I would have to tell you that, regardless of who put the ball in the back of the net, if I was involved in the move, I was more than happy. Whether it was the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth pass, I was more than pleased, regardless.
Beautiful.
There you go.
And I'm guessing this is again on the back of
Mesut
Russell's
Ozil.
performance.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to get most assists in the Premier League this season?
Who's going to score the most goals is probably going to be Manchester City, but they maybe pass around that ball quite a bit. I still think David Silva.
David Silva?
Why not?
Here we go. Are Arsenal genuine title contenders this year?
Title contenders.
Yes.
Nope.
That was predictable.
They've won 10 in a row, Stevie.
Listen, if anybody never saw the show, Mr. Craig Burley, Esquire, on the show.
You're acting weird today.
It's a tie. It's a tie.
That's for the tie.
I tell you what, he is
You think
one
so?
weird mood today.
You're in a weird mood.
It's a tie. It had to be the tie.
I was just doing a bit of promotion for the show, you know what I mean? Is that something wrong with that?
Continue.
No, well, Craig did suggest that they were contenders for the top 4, but not the title.
Where do you
Which I
stand?
which I 100% agree with Mr. Craig Burley.
Who would they take the place of in the top 4?
I don't think they will.
Okay. So they're not contenders for the top 4.
How'd you work that out?
You said they're not.
They could end up 5th, but they could be contenders right up until the last game of the season. I'm just telling you that after the last game of the season, they won't be 4th.
Right.
They might be 5th.
Okay.
But they could contend for that 4th spot.
Right.
Is that explained sufficiently for you?
That's beautifully.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Stephen Nicol, Esquire.
Esquire.
We're supposed to be golfing tomorrow morning. Will you be out of this trance? You see again?
Well, it's probably because of this morning. You had me up that early. I get down to the golf course, got there, and there was 140 people there.
Got 'em up
and we
early
couldn't get on.
I said, be there at 9:45.
Right. So what time did you have to wake up?
9.
Whoa. Early
So what? There were 10 cups of coffee to wake myself up at that time in the morning.
I think that's it. Are you on tomorrow?
I am.
You going to wear a tie?
I doubt it.
What? Is that the only one you own?
I don't know. I feel a bit strange myself. Tie on.
Hey, but you look great. You look.
Ali, he's going to wear it to the golf.
Oh well, I wouldn't put it past him. I know that shirt is coming out tomorrow. To the golf
Can you
course.
check and make sure there's not going to be 140 people there tomorrow?
We will be here tomorrow, fear not. It is
chance.
Manchester United against Juventus.
Yes, you got that right.
Juventus.
Yes, indeed.
Cristiano Ronaldo returns to Old Trafford on Tuesday for the Match Day 3 Champions League encounter for group supremacy between United and Juventus. Shaka, who's this a bigger game for, United or Juventus?
Without question, this is a bigger game for Manchester United. As much as 2 weeks ago we were speculating around the future of Jose Mourinho and whether results against Newcastle would be enough to save his job, in the end it was. A couple of late goals from Manchester United in that regard. And then the response, I thought, was probably the best 45 minutes we've seen from Manchester United in quite some time at Stamford Bridge, Jose Mourinho's old team. Still, I feel this United team is a long way away from being anywhere near their best or what people expect them to. On the other hand, you look at this Juventus side, who've strengthened in the form of Cristiano Ronaldo with one intention only, and that is to win the Champions League. And as much as there's talk and speculation that continues to swirl around this game for any number of reasons, I just feel in terms of the personalities, in terms of the characters, Juventus are better suited to manage any speculation, any stories, any sidebars that you want to go on, whereas I still feel, as you look at Manchester United, there's just too many unanswered questions that continue to swirl around their players. I feel it may prove to be too big an occasion for some of those United players. Juventus, this is just par for the course for them.
We saw them perform very well in England last year in the Champions League, so one would think that they have the capability to, as you mentioned, manage the occasion perhaps better. Will the result or the performance that Manchester United delivered at the weekend help them? Do you think it will give them an improved feeling?
It has to help, and more so the second half performance. And that's been my continuing concern with Manchester United. They've looked better when coming from behind, when having to chase and almost throw caution to the wind. You saw that against Newcastle. You saw that in the second half performance against Chelsea after going behind. If Manchester United start that brightly from the offset, I think they give themselves a chance. The trouble is, I just feel that on the occasions that they've done, and my mind harks back to the Spurs game, where they played on the front foot and tried to take the game to the opposition, they've kind of lost their own control and discipline. So it's a strange existence in that regard for Manchester United. When they maintain a control and discipline, they have no real attacking punch to it. And players seem seem to be playing in a manner that doesn't suit them. Yet, when they have to chase things, when they have to go for it, for instance, I thought we saw by far Paul Pogba's best 45 minutes in a United shirt. Martial, Rashford, answering the questions that we've been asking of them for quite some time. But it comes when they're having to chase the game. And in the end, they probably deserve the 3 points based on that second half performance. But Chelsea did to United as they've been doing to so many, scored late on.
Ronaldo to make the headlines?
He always does.
Okay. We'll make sure that you check in with us at ESPN FC for full coverage of Manchester United against Juventus. Ronaldo's return, Xhaka at the moment picking Juve to do enough. Reports surfacing in Spain that Real Madrid could be in the market to even bring Zlatan Ibrahimovic back to La Liga. Shaka Hislop, tell me this isn't true.
I really would like to tell you as much, Ross. I'll be honest, in terms of football, this makes absolutely no sense. Ibrahimovic turned 37 earlier this month. And really, is this the kind of player that Real Madrid are now in the market for? On the other side of the coin, though, Zlatan continued to show that he can contribute. He can score goals. Maybe not at the level that he once did, or maybe not even at the level that Real Madrid necessarily need right now. I think a big part of Real's problems is simply a lack of personality, or lack of a dominant personality. That dominant personality came in the form of Cristiano Ronaldo. And as fantastic a player as he was, when things weren't going well, you can rely on him to take the game by the scruff of the neck. You can rely on him to take the pressure away from everybody else, on and off the field. And that's what Real Madrid need right now. They're still an incredibly talented side. You look at this team on paper, and there's no explaining their current run of form other than everybody's under pressure and everybody's starting to hide. And the one thing you can count on Zlatan not to do is hide. You can count on him to take that pressure on his shoulders. Gab has Marcotti has a phrase about Zlatan that I absolutely love. He takes up all the oxygen in the room. And that's exactly what Real Madrid need right now, almost in an effort to get the likes of Bale and Isco and all the other names that just roll off the tongue so easily, to again find their form, to not have the spotlight on them. So I'm a little bit torn on this, because, like as I said, footballing, in a footballing sense, it doesn't tick the boxes for me. But just in terms of what they need and personality, Zlatan is the only one in football. Never mind his goal scoring, his record, or his age. He's the only person with that kind of personality that can come in and deliver what they need.
The Champions League rules have changed now, so that players who have played for one team in the first half of the year, come January when the window opens again, would be eligible for Real Madrid, supposing they get to the knockout stage. So a Neymar, perhaps, or somebody else, an Mbappe, they could go shopping in January. Who would you bring in if it wasn't Zlatan?
I mean, but would any of those players move? Can you get Neymar or Mbappe or Lewandowski or whoever it is in January, given that you expect those clubs, or Icardi, given that you expect those clubs to still be in the Champions League? Of all the big names in world football who Real Madrid have been linked with, and all those moves are a possibility at some point, who is not going to be in the Champions League come January? And I think, as we sit right now, I'm not sure that any of the world's best strikers are not going to be in the knockout stage.
OK, so the Galactico policy may have been on hiatus for the last 4 years or so, but Real Madrid may have to rekindle that come January, particularly if their current goal-scoring problems aren't solved between now and then. Zlatan, of course, remains an option. No shortage of goals this week in the Power Rankings, so here to get you caught up on anything you might have missed from the weekend action, Shaka Hislop joins me. Shaka, as we take a look at the player Power Rankings for the top 10 this weekend, you have to start at number 1 with Luka Jovic. 5 goals, the youngest ever Bundesliga player to hit 5 in one game for Eintracht Frankfurt.
And what a return it was, but 20 years old. Already on all the big clubs' radars, this going even more to kind of cement that interest. I'm not sure how Eintracht Frankfurt keep hold of him past some of 2019. He's showing exactly why with a prolific one game. Anthony Martial, for me, as much as we've spoken about Martial and is he staying, is he not, his relationship with Jose Mourinho, I thought that second half from Manchester United was something special from them, and more so for Anthony Martial, who grabbed 2, albeit with Chelsea coming back and scoring very late on.
Yeah, efficiency in finishing from Martial. A couple of hat-tricks elsewhere as well. Emiliano Sala for Nantes. It's their biggest league win. They won 4-0. Biggest league win in 4.5 years for them. Jonas Hoffmann, who's number 3 on our list for Borussia Mönchengladbach, his first ever professional hat-trick. And what about Messi? An assist and a goal in 17 minutes of action. Yeah,
I mean, he continues to write his own headlines, Lionel Messi. Grabs the headlines, albeit in a truncated game on the weekend against Sevilla. And now the big questions are, how do Barcelona fare without him? He's that important and continues to show exactly how good he is.
Yeah, we always have this sort of balance between how important goals are. Mauro Icardi scoring in injury time in the Derby della Madonnina.
I don't think there was a bigger goal in Italian football this weekend, albeit a bit of a helping hand from Gigi Donnarumma. But Mauro Icardi, right place, right time, at the very death for Inter Milan. In all honesty, it's a win that Inter deserved, and Icardi continues a fine run of form.
And as we talk about teams who are struggling, the big teams such as Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, incredibly important goals for Robert Lewandowski personally and for the team.
Yeah, this entire Bayern Munich outfit under a lot of pressure coming into the weekend with Champions League fixtures to come this week. Lewandowski times has returned to form, or at least goal-scoring form, perfectly. We see how it fares during the week.
Espanyol up to second, Borja Iglesias with both of their goals in a 2-0 win against Huesca. And then Osip Ilicic scoring on his first start. He got a hat-trick for Atalanta as they beat bottom of the table Chievo, similarly in Serie A. So that's your roundup of the top 10. Let us know who you think we're missing, as always, at ESPN FC. We'll be back next week. Welcome into the Champions League Predictor. Shaka's going head-to-head with me for the match day 3 games, or at least a few of them. Shaka, we've got some good ties here. Real Madrid, we'll start with them, a team in terrible form. Lost 3 of the last 4. They're up against Victoria Pilsen. They lost to CSKA Moscow late on match day 2, although Victoria Pilsen lost 5-0 to Roma. So does Lopetegui get it right?
I'm not so sure that he does. Real Madrid yet to win a game in October, and I have to admit I was leaning to have Victoria Pilsen win. You kind of talked me out of that off camera, so I'm going to sit on the fence and say draw. I just think that Real Madrid are a club under too much pressure, and they don't have the personalities to handle that pressure right now.
This is do or die for Lopetegui. If this doesn't work out for them, he's gone anyway. They've got Clasico at the weekend. I do say that they have enough. Shakhtar Donetsk against Manchester City. City with the late win last time.
Well, I really thought City would be cruising in this group. Lost in match day 1, late win match day 2 against Hoffenheim. And Shakhtar are a team who can pose problems. Yet again, I'm going to sit on the fence. I think things are just starting to fall into place for Pep Guardiola, at least in terms of the Champions League. Not well enough to get the better of Shakhtar. I'm going to go draw again.
I have a sneaky feeling that you might be right on this one. They have recent experience with them. Shakhtar actually started with 2 draws at the moment in the group. They could do with the win. I think they have enough to get the draw. AEK Athens against Bayern Munich.
Yeah, and again, another big club who have been in terrible form. Somehow got it right this weekend at Wolfsburg. With that in mind, despite the pressure that they've been under themselves, I think they get it right on the road at AEK.
I have to agree with that as well. Athens losing at home last time to Benfica. I think Bayern Munich just about getting the confidence right at the weekend to carry them through this week. Ajax against Benfica. This is a hard one.
It is. And again, 2 teams evenly matched, certainly in terms of their own form, both in the league and the Champions League coming into this one. Benfica with a good win against Porto a couple of weeks ago. Ajax have scored 9 in their 2 leading up to this one. I find myself sitting on the fence. I think that's going to be a draw as well.
I'm going to say that Ajax have enough. At home against Benfica. Benfica not playing a league game this weekend. Few days off, but I'm not sure that will help them with the result. Manchester United against Juventus.
I thought the second half we saw from Manchester United against Chelsea was as good as we've seen from them all season long. I think many of the individuals for Manchester United had arguably their best 45 minutes in the red of Manchester United. But still, I think there are too many stories still continuing to swirl around Old Trafford. The return of Cristiano Ronaldo, there's all sorts of sidebars to this. I think Juventus handle the pressure better, handle these stories a whole lot better, and they get the win.
Yep, composure-wise, I think they go there and get a victory with Ronaldo. I think that's going to be huge news for Juventus, who of course have had that great start to the Champions League and also in Serie A. More pressure on Mourinho perhaps. That's our thoughts, but let us know what you think. Big match day 3 ahead.